welcome to Brother Talk TV. This your main man, the main host, Brother Man Feek.
All right, then that's cool. I'm Lou, man. You know what
Jay
it is.
Millie, why was it delayed this time?
And we got a guest, a special guest here. We let him introduce himself.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Brother Oli Hay. How y'all doing? It's
Brother
an honor to
Oli.
be on the show. Hey guys, I really appreciate this. You know, it's one of my first.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about. You know, it's the first time everybody remember the first time.
Yeah,
and everything you did.
Yeah. Yeah, what you think about?
Sometimes it could be something else. Sometimes it could be perfect. Yeah.
Okay. So, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us like how you grew up and stuff like that. Tell us something about yourself.
Well, no, I'm gonna say I grew up. How should I say it? In two households.
Okay.
One, I was able to do pretty much what I wanted to do. The other, I had rules I had to go by. But, I'm going to say, hey, it was something else. But at the same time, uh, it's kind of what led me to where I'm at today.
Okay.
People may not understand that when I say that, but you have to understand when you were younger coming up, and you stayed in one household, and the main thing about it is they were right next door, right next door to each other. So I get in trouble in one case, I go next door, I'm going over here, So it was something else, but it was a journey in my life.
For sure. So when you say you grew up in two households, so for the audience, is it like was your parents living together? Were they separate? So what was the other household and who was in there?
Actually, the other household was my dad's mom.
Okay.
And my dad and my mom, of course, they stayed together. So I was actually, next door staying at my grandmother's because I was the first child, and my auntie took me in every time she was there. I was there, so, that's basically how it ended up like that. Gave mom and dad a lot of time. That's why I got seven other siblings. But at the same time, for 4 years, I was the only child.
Okay.
So, how was that? Being able to, basically be where you wanted to be at this house or that one. Was it like did it help or did it like
I'm gonna say it was cool, but it was a hindrance. And what I mean by the hindrance was because if I got in trouble over here, then I'd go over there. And as far as like with my dad and my mom, whatever, when I got in trouble with my dad, when he go to work that day, I left and packed everything but right over to my grandmother, which was from the basement, to the other side. That fence wasn't there.
okay.
They used to be just open. So when I got in trouble with him, he go to work, and I went back over to the house. So
they wasn't communicating
yeah.
the plan for you.
But at this time I say, my dad never said nothing. To this day as I think about that, he never. Hey, who told you to do so and so and so? He never came to me with that. It was just I was there. Then I get in trouble over there. Big mama tell me, you go over there with your dad. So I go to my daddy, and like I said, I get in trouble, and when he go to work, I go right back over to Big Mama. So none of the rest of them got a chance to go through none of that.
Yeah.
And see, when I say that, people don't understand why my life that played a part in my life. I say. Because how it played a part was being over there, and we stay out at 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock. Of course, my dad, when the street lights come on, hey, or coming on, you better be in the house. That's what I got into trouble a lot about, because I wasn't there all the time. Big mama, no trip, whatever. So finally, when I turned age 16, and my dad was like, might have been like 15. So my dad was like, you ready to come home? I remember it like it was yesterday. We was walking to get him a pack of cigarettes, and me and him was walking to the filling station. And he said, you ready to come home, and you're not going back over here. And I said, okay. And so, man, kind of waters my eyes, but, just thinking back in them days, and stuff, and that was it. That was it. That Big Mama's was over. I got in trouble with him. It's over. Do not pack your stuff and go over there. No, whatever. So, that's when everything changed. I just look out the window and everybody out there still playing, I got to be in the house, So I had to take that,
Yeah.
And did it,
So, all right, so you said that people don't understand. That's like your story, your journey is all started from that. So after that, so you said age 16 when you went back home there. So take us from age 16 to like your early 20s, and that like after that, after when it all changed, whenever you stopped being at your big mama house and had to be at home and really couldn't do whatever you wanted to do.
Well, that change came because of the not going in when not being there on time. Because I would do it, but it would be times when I wasn't there. I was trying to get home. Went to the store with a friend of mine, him and his mama, and so it's dark outside now. So I'm running home. My daddy was sitting on the porch. He said, "What did I tell you?" I said, "I went to the store. I don't care." Bam. So, and then gray cars. When I would get an F or get an eyes wasn't real bad, but eyes was inferior because we got ESMIF and E excellent, S superior, M average.
So it was never A B C D. It was all those.
ESMIF.
Okay.
So E excellent, S superior, M average. With an I inferior, F failure or fail. So that's what we get. So an I wasn't so bad, but it was bad. But an F was really bad. An F is failure, and I got a whooping for that. And stuff. So, but because you're not a failure. But that's how.
So you was doing below what they taught you, how they raised you to be. You was performing less than what they knew you could do.
Yeah, basically. So he was trying to get it out of me, but that today I say that wasn't a way to get it into somebody. To me, talk, to me, I don't think I was that hard headed.
So this question. So didn't he talk to you and tell you make sure you at home at the right time?
Yeah, he talked to me.
Did it work?
And obviously I got in trouble a few more times.
You see what I'm saying?
But basically what I'm saying is, today, a better. Hey, look, I'm just trying to tell you, I'm doing this for a reason. Actually, it wasn't really set out there of why you're doing it. I guess it was it's common sense. I'm telling you to be in at this certain time because I don't want you to be out there when this. It wasn't talks like that. It was just do it or get your ass whooped. So
I mean, at least he gave you two options.
So, so we hear like say this little spinoff that we're using right now. It's called Untold Stories of the Streets, right? So this is what the episode. This is technically episode 1 of Untold Stories of the Streets. And it's about episode 9 of the season that we're currently in, right? So this is just like a little chapter in the season that we're using. All right. So we wanted to get some background on you to see when did your life take a turn? When did it hit that big turning point towards you start being in the streets? Not necessarily as like a gang member, stuff like that, but just like in the streets, indulging into activities that is against the law.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna say, see, first of all,
allegedly.
What allegedly?
Yeah, allegedly.
Okay, so basically, I left wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I left home wrong. I left on the wrong foot because they're getting in troubles, as I explained earlier. And I can't wait till I get 18 so I can get up out of here.
Mm-hmm.
When I got 18, that's what I did. And I left. And I went to stay with my auntie first. And got into it with her dude. He was drunk and came in and she didn't tell me, why you here anyway. I said, she said I'd go stay here. I'm my auntie, whatever. So, and I ain't telling you nothing, So he goes and he gets a knife, because he's drunk. He gonna tell me. So I called her, but I picked up a chair. I'm about to use this chair on him. She put me out. Then I go stay over in Kansas with my uncle Kevin, my dad's brother. That's when I started the drugs. Because simply it was because wanting to get out the house. I can wait till I get out. I can do what I want to do now.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting over there on the couch over there in Kansas, and there was a guy, one of my uncle's friends. You want some of this? He said, yeah.
Okay.
Went and did it, and there you go.
So what did he offer you? It's the question.
He offered me some crack cocaine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me take a break here before we even let you explore into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
were you doing drugs prior to experience of him offering you that crack?
Yes, I was doing marijuana.
Okay, so when did you start doing the marijuana?
I started doing marijuana like about 18, 17, 18.
So basically about a year or so before you left your house.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah.
oh, you have something else? No, I was gonna say that most people say like marijuana is a gateway drug. Do you think that using marijuana prompted you to want to indulge in that?
No. To go and do that was just because I knew I could do what I want to do, and then I got through doing it. I didn't have to sit and face my dad.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Marijuana never was the problem for me, whatever. But I will tell you, in the process of as I can think of it and know now, because I know that's what it was. The marijuana doing that was cool, but once I hit that crack cocaine, it changed things. It changed things to a factor whereas, and I was always also doing wet, and doing that too with them. Look, I have actually.
I got a question.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Hey, no, I mean, we keeping it real.
You wanna know?
Wait. No, cause listen, you threw that monkey wrench in there.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody ready for that one.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. So hold on, wait. So you said you started out, you did some marijuana, right? So then, what you doing? Which one did you do first, the crack or did you do wet first?
I did crack first.
Okay.
No. I did marijuana first.
Okay.
And then, in the process of that, I did wet.
Oh, wait. So you about to keep going.
That's what I said. Because you said he went from marijuana to
the crack.
You
said wet.
Okay, yeah, because that one got slipped. Yeah. But,
okay, you slipped no way.
Well, that was.
So how did you go from marijuana to wet? Because you slipped up and you went above, you went past that wet.
Crack.
So you need to go to the wet first and then go to that stage. So what introduced you to wet and what made you take that route?
Well, I had a cousin, who had passed away. He used to do wet, and so we used to do wet together. So everybody had weed. I do weed. A friend of ours, Roger, we used to do the weed, and stuff. And so my cousin doing the wet, whatever. I was kind of introduced to that, doing that. So when I did leave, from my dad and them's house, and stuff over to Kansas, it's kind of hard to put in order because it was all being done here and there. Like I said, I could do what I want.
Yeah. So how was that feeling doing wet?
The wet was something else. That stuff, you felt like I'm talking. I'm like, hey, and then when I was walking, it's like I'm high stepping. I'm high stepping, and that's a long high. That's a high that lasts for a while.
I got a question. So, what's the longest you've been high? Like the longest period?
Like as long. We're not talking about like years. We're talking like once you did it, how long was you out?
Like a day or two?
Oh, like wet or something?
No, just like but before you came all the way down.
The wet is the longest. So the wet you can be high over that for 2 hours. Something like that because that's embalming fluid.
Yeah.
And I didn't before I do anything about all this and that, stuff. We just smoking it and sitting up there chilling. Then all of a sudden you start getting that feeling, and you got to be careful because certain people it affects them in different ways. Me, I'm affected to the point where I'm slow. But some people it affects them. They violent. People because I know some people that have been like that. But I really had to hear their watch who I was around. Getting that way because people take advantage of you. Or you could maybe do something stupid, not knowing. Oh shit, I'm sorry. I could go after smoking something else, reach for this, and may knock it over or be so slow going to get it. Which crack on the other hand is a more hype one. It's hype and let's see, what else would you say about it?
I don't know.
Well,
I ain't doing it.
Well, yeah,
We're not influencing nobody.
Yeah.
Don't do
This is
drugs.
Untold Story Street. We want to get, is this educational?
And I would basically, tell you, it's something that you get hooked on It's difficult to get away from. Some people it's not, but for me, it was difficult. For me because when I got on it, I was on it. Whatever. And I mean, I go to work, I get my check, I spend my whole check.
Man.
And I have spent my whole check. No lie, man. And
Damn.
then after that, no, I need to give me some cigarettes out.
Yeah.
Or I want to get something to eat.
Yeah.
Man, I did that, man. I could have went and got me some chicken. I could have me a pack of cigarettes right now, and I could get that beer I wanted.
Yeah.
So it puts you on when people say hustle, but to me, it ain't a hustle. It's not a hustle, if you ask me. Because it's I can't never think of the words that I be looking for, but it's just like you running after something.
Yeah.
You run after. I'm trying to get this one. Get it. So a person could get jacked if you're that type of person. Whatever person steal from you. Whatever I be there. Hey, all that comes to mind. Whatever. Now there are different people that have hustle. Okay, hey, I'm gonna go with some people could smoke and sell at the same time. I couldn't. I'm spending my money. I wasn't spending to make money so I could get high.
Yeah.
I'm just spending. I'm steady giving. Nothing coming in. I
Yeah.
tried it a few times, but I smoked it up because it was taking too long for people to come by. So that was me.
So you said that you would spend your whole check. So basically, did you ever one time you did it dang, next time I ain't gonna do that, or did you just constantly just keep doing it over and over again?
Yeah, I had a big debate with myself. I used to work at Jack Stack on 95th and Metcalf, and I had my Explorer. So I go to work. I finally got the chance to start working days. Got paid that day.
Yeah.
On my lunch break, I run and cash my check. Okay, time to get off. I'm driving down the street. Should I go get some? Nah, because if I do, I'm gonna spend my whole check. Well, at least I can go get a 20. And then I want to do that. Nah, 'cause if I do that, then I know I was. Well, I ended up at the dope house. And once I ended up at the dope house, next thing you know, it's on. It's on because I run into a woman. Oh, come on, let's roll. Whatever. And see, women was one of my biggest red flags. Women and money, both of them. Because if I got the money, I know I can go get it. And if I seen a woman I wanted, hey, I know I'm gonna get that. So, and they basically make you spend the money because they want some money, and you're gonna say, well, I don't want you to leave. Hey, we can do it, and you're gonna keep on doing what you're doing, and stuff.
So basically, you telling me was you was a crackhead and a trick at the same time.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say, I hate to say it like that, but for real, it would be like that. But that chick wasn't getting money like she thought from me.
No.
Because I even every woman that I met, I was doing, from Renee all the way to I shouldn't name it, anyway, from the first to the third, I was using the drugs, so that was part of my breakups, for real, but they'll tell you, I wouldn't give them no money, and it wasn't just because of that, but it's your house. You pay your bills, and you can't fault me if I don't give you nothing. And I don't look at that as really it was a good thing. I don't do that.
That's your story,
But that's how it was, and stuff. And then, somebody asking me, I ain't got it. One, so I can keep it, I go do what I'm gonna do. And two, you don't give me nothing.
So hold on, wait though. Before we spin back to when we was at by doing crack by your uncle's friend.
Yeah.
So you said you didn't give nobody no money because you want to go spend your money. But when somebody asked you for money, did you not get mad?
No, I didn't give it to them.
No. When somebody asked you, when you ask somebody for some money and they tell you no, do you not get mad?
Sometimes I would. Especially when it came to my feet. Yeah. Now, somebody else, somebody came up, I asked them, and they say no. 9 times out of 10, you wouldn't get it. But you catch somebody in that's getting high and got a little something, you can get it out of. Come on, man. Hey, well, let's go do so. You have to get out of them another way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I did different things. I didn't do nothing real drastic, and stuff to get some, but, I had to do this or play a role to get me paid something.
So, and I know I said this last time, but just just because you're here, so you need to address it. So I know some of these drug addicts, they do certain things like sell their body to get the next fix.
Yeah.
Did you ever fall victim to that?
I sell my body now. If I did, I would have been selling some. But no, I could never. That one, I couldn't get to that. No, I couldn't. I was a worker type person. I took that, from my dad. My cousin, he's a hustler. Should I say by trade? Because his daddy, was like that. My daddy wasn't like that. My daddy was like, go to work, get the check, or I'll do something for somebody, make some money, whatever, and get mine. That's how I basically was, and stuff. So, no, selling my body. No, I wasn't a hoe. I probably was a male hoe, but that's any woman, a woman. But I used to be told any cock will do. It wasn't really that because I done ran into some. No, I don't want to know. That was very seldom for me, but I had to turn down some.
Why did you turn them down?
Oh man, let me tell you, they're out there. And, I had one that she pulled her pants down, it was like poof. But I can't lie, I still hit it. But that was that day.
I still hit it.
I was in a little,
So did it smell bad the whole time?
Hey man, let me tell you. Now you know how a person, will you go down on certain women.
Yeah.
That I didn't. That I didn't. But I did hit.
Did you use a rubber?
I don't think I did. It was a spur of the moment because she didn't stay that far from us. I was staying with mom and dad then. They was doing that like that. Yeah.
So,
that was one of my sister's friends.
So that's even worse. So you said you hit it even though it had an aroma.
Yeah.
So my question is that have you dealt with any of these sexually transmitted diseases since you're hitting these chicks raw?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
What you dealt with?
I had gonorrhea. I done had crabs.
Damn.
I done had mainly it was gonorrhea. Because and that was like one of the main deals that was going around then. And thank God it wasn't HIV.
Yeah.
Too much during that time. But yeah, I went to the
The clinic?
I done went to the clinic so many times they turned my thing off. No, but see, they call you by a number.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it was just one shit, man. She had some good stuff. And I knew I got it from her. So I get myself together to get done. And she came out, hit it again. Caught it again. They came back. Seen it again, hit it again, got it again. Hey, she just had some good stuff, man. I mean,
You addicted to that.
You tell her to go.
I asked her if she did anything. She lied.
I'm saying, like, when you knew you got it from her, you didn't tell her, like, hey, you need to go to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I told her, hey, you need to go get yourself checked out, whatever. She was, and then it was, I don't know why. It was seeming kind of embarrassing to tell them, well, if you got it from her, then, But then sometimes it was like, was it her? It could have been somebody else.
So you was having sex with multiple people unprotected.
Oh man, I was meeting girls the same day hitting me.
Oh,
yeah.
Raw though? No.
Some raw, some with a condom. I don't say this in just joy, but this is what was happening. Just keeping it real.
Yeah.
That's what was happening. And I'm fortunate, to be sitting here not having HIV.
Yeah.
Whatever, because matter of fact, I just came from the doctor. Second of all, I just got a call from the doctor last week after they did my lab and stuff and said, hey, blood work is clean. And I can only give thanks to God, for that because he was with me each time I, hey, you can't hide. So, of course, he's seen me doing it, and I'm glad that each one that it didn't go through that.
So what's the worst sexually transmitted disease have you contracted?
That was man, because it was one. I got a shot in my ass.
You can name them all out. You know what I'm saying? For the people.
You got syphilis.
Yeah.
You got gonorrhea, VD. And VD is like venereal disease.
Yeah.
STD is sexually transmitted disease, whatever. So VD, it was mainly the gonorrhea because I remember one time my dad took me to the doctor and they gave me a shot in the ass, some penicillin, whatever. But yeah, that crabs, 'cause that's what I had mostly gonorrhea, and then they'll say VD, just say venereal disease,
Yeah.
So them was mainly, it.
The main one.
Syphilis, I can't say, too much about syphilis, but man, I was just going.
Yeah.
I had the car. I was hitting some chicks.
Yeah.
I'm
Raw.
telling you, raw. Some I had a condom, some I didn't. And I mean, that's just the way things was going. And like I said, man, I can only give thanks to God that I am not sitting up here with HIV.
Yeah.
But
glad of that though.
yeah,
So that's-
when I go to the doctor, I tell them, hey, if you don't take my blood, and then let me know,
Yeah,
if I got it. Even though you don't want to know, but you want to know,
Yeah, for sure.
Because
yeah. So let's get back on your journey.
Yeah,
'cause we stopped at.
I mean, that was part of it.
Yeah, that was part of your journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That was. But let's get back to the part you said. Okay,
You
so
smoke
now,
crack at your uncle's house
Yeah.
with his friend.
all right, there we go.
yeah. After that we started every day, and that's the wet. They call it dip do.
Yeah.
Dippity doo. Let's get the dippity doo working, which was weed. Weed, and you dip it. And we should smoke that. Every day. That was one of the main things. And stuff. So things got real hectic with that. And I moved out from with them, and that's when it started getting, a little bit more rougher. I kicked back over here in Missouri and in the streets and just staying wherever I could and going through where I could and getting my paperwork and together to get on Section 8 and all this, that kind of stuff.
So you said you was smoking, doing all that, and at that time, did you ever think like, oh man, this is wrong? Because you haven't really seen nobody else do it besides your uncle's friend, and then you said you came back over to Missouri. You were staying, what were some places that you stayed in that that you had to stay in because you didn't really have, you didn't want to go back to your parents' house.
That was vacant houses,
Mm-hmm.
cars, right up the street, around the corner from London, they had little car shops, whatever, they fixing on cars.
Yeah.
I walk by there late at night, kind of look around, see if anybody, if a door's open, I get up in there, lock the doors, take my coat, put it over me, lean down, get up about 6 a.m. so they wouldn't come and see me in there, get up and get out. And
How did you know it was 6 in the morning?
Oh, I checked out. I had to watch.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so just to piggyback off that too. So when you was going through that moment of trying to find places to sleep in cars, vacant houses, stuff like that, like how did that make you feel?
No, it made me feel real bad.
Mhm.
I said, man, but see, to me, it was the drug.
Yeah.
That drug had a hold to me. It affects everybody differently. Whatever. So that drug got a hold to me. To the fact of whereas once I started on it, I ain't stopping until I'm broke.
Mhm.
And that to say that is like, really, is that what you really how you would sit there and think when you know the stuff that you got to do afterward. Hey, didn't care, man. I just I'm going, and I'm doing my thing. So no, today I'll just say that man, those are things that I look back at, and I really, really, try to focus to live a better life, to do things differently, which it's not easy. It's not easy because like the treatment would tell you, I'm a day from I'm a day away from getting out. I'm a day away. So you can have it anytime.
So after you moved out and you was in the streets, how long was you homeless and unsettled for before you settled?
I was homeless for least. In and out, I'll just say I've been homeless for like 15 years.
Mhm.
You know,
Okay.
on and off.
Yeah.
You know, you put it all together, on and off.
So about
Yeah.
okay. So once you was getting this stuff like that, and you was getting your the drugs and stuff like that to maintain the lifestyle that you wanted to do, what are some of the hardships that you've dealt with either close friends or family because of the drugs and stuff and the violence that comes with it?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, one of the things was staying with family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that would affect me in a way. And today I understand it. Even then I understood it, but it was like I didn't want to understand.
Mm.
It was almost like I just want you to look at what I'm going through, and I want you to do what you gonna do, whatever. And that wasn't that wasn't rightful thinking or whatever should I say, because I've stayed with my sister. I stayed with two of my sisters,
Mm-hmm.
and at some point had to go, whatever. My brothers, I never stayed with them, whatever.
Why is that?
Well, one of my brothers, he wasn't the type that go sit there and really let you. And the other one, he just he was something else too, because I did stay a night or two with him. But hey, you get up in the morning, he's leaving, you leaving, which here or there it might have been that way in either way. But they were really hard about the fact of staying with them like that. But the other one, he wasn't even gonna go for it,
Yeah.
and so, but other than that, because it would hurt, they'd be like, that I'm out here and I'm walking, and they say, "Well, that's not my fault."
Yeah.
Which would that's
Yeah.
that's the main truth and it's right. I understand that. But like I said, when you're doing the drugs or whatever, you talking about me,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna think like that. I'm gonna be, hey, you see me out here, let me go on, do this and that. And they're like, no, I'm not gonna, and then when you think of it now, it's like I have a family, the person, but I have a family, and I'm not gonna have you around the family because, and when I say sneaky things come out meaning, okay, you might come in uh, at a time that wasn't, you know, um, accepted, or you might leave out at a time that wasn't accepted, whatever that people, hey, no, I don't want you doing that because I got my family here,
Mm-hmm.
and even though I consider, and I do mean that, I have morals about myself, so, I will respect that, but it will hurt, but sometimes some stuff will kick in, I gotta go, and you go, I'm gonna go ahead and go. You do it, but they're gonna tell you about, hey, look, man, can't be doing that, man. I'm gonna go and let you know, let you go, you go. Okay, boom,
So after you start doing these things and continued on, what are some of the craziest things you've done to drive your addiction so that you can have money for your addiction? What are some of the crazy things you can think of that you've done to feed your addiction?
I've I've stole, dope from certain people. I had my car. I asked them, I asked for what I asked for, and they give it to boom, I pull off. That's how I wrecked. That's how I wrecked one of my cars, because I hit the gas too hard and hit something and messed it up.
Did you get away with the stuff you took?
Yeah, after I went down the street, I had to find it because I dropped it in the car. But I had to find it. I was gonna rob this one store, but the dude wouldn't give me the gun. I guess he thought about it. He said that I can't find it. That's what he said. But I guess he thought about, shoot, if I get the gun, he might rob me, or whatever. But then again, I say that was God saying, no, don't. Whichever way it was, I didn't need to get it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad too, because, no telling what would have happened. And later on, I thought about that. I said, man, I'm so glad that I didn't do that.
So did you ever, the guy that you robbed, or you did you ever see him again?
Uh-uh.
Never
I wouldn't go back in the area, for one. Or if I did, I wouldn't stop,
Yeah.
or something. I may have seen them, and some of them, some remember, some don't, whatever. But hey, and then I got a dude. One time I went over this. I would just go to this guy's house all the time. I'm always bringing stuff, what I always share with him and this and that. So this one day I go over there and he got some, and he ain't gonna share with me. And you can't expect for everybody to do that. But this particular time, it made me mad. Whatever. I said, man, that's messed up. If I come over here, so, I went out the gate, slammed the gate opened back up. And so the little youngster came, he go, come back and shut the gate, pull his gun out. I said, all right. I went back, shut the gate. So in the process of me always going over there, I knew where he went. You know, I knew where he went. And so at that time, I thought about it. That's early one morning, early that morning. I said, hey, I always do so and so and so. Went there, got him. I got him. Man,
How'd you get him?
I found his stuff. I found out why he was going back there.
Yeah.
And I went back there and I found it. And I said,
You found the treasure, huh?
yeah, found the treasure. Yeah.
How fast you smoked up?
Oh man, I left. I was happy. I went over to his house, sat and chilled, and everything. Not even saying being, proud of that, but hey, when you going through it, you going through it, and all kind of things be coming to you. What can I do to get her? What can I do to get her? Go there because a lot of guys when you ask them for some credit, they don't want to give you credit. You spend your whole check with the person. Hey man, hey, I just spent all money. Can I get a dime? Shoot, I ain't got it. I said, man, I just put the whole check with you. I said, okay, cool. So the next week I got paid. I can't say, yeah, let me get a dime. They give me the dime, and I said, see, you should hear some of this 20s, and everything. I said, oh, I gotta give them now. I don't want because last time I spent all my money with you, I couldn't get nothing.
Yeah.
Whatever. So hey man, there's consequences that come with the territory. When you're doing what you're doing, out there. And right now, I really, really work on staying focused, on staying away from it because, like I said, I'm just a day away from doing it. But the thing that keeps me focused, right now, and everything is thinking about how I used to do when I was doing it, thinking about how cool and fun this is now.
Yeah.
To go get something to eat whenever I want to. When I get my money, I jump on the bus, go Ward Parkway. Ma, I'm going in the center this time. They got a bigger mall, and I can walk around and see some ladies, stuff like that.
Yeah, for real.
See us
really, just really enjoy your life.
Yeah, better have some real fight. Wake up the next day. Oh, well, so I'm not gonna say that I really hate that what I went through because it's also been said that you go through certain things for a reason.
Yeah.
And I feel my reason is because whenever I get it together or while I'm getting it together and stay focused, the reward will be real good because I feel like I made it through. I made it through, boy. I've been boxing for a long time. Got knocked out, boom, got up.
Yeah.
Knocked down again, boom. Knocked a few people out, huh?
Yeah.
Boom. Whatever. But hey, you fall out, whatever. Got right back up.
So yeah. So I was gonna say this. So since we talk about untold stories of the street, and since you seem like you've been around and outside when it's late night, the early mornings, what are some of the craziest things that you experienced or seen on the street?
I sit on a bus stop right on 31st and Prospect. I just feel getting high by myself.
The way you said it.
Yeah, because that was one of sitting there on a bus stop getting high by myself.
Yeah.
Over on the other bus stop by Popeyes, it's like 4 niggas. Sitting over there, over there talking to them. I hope they don't come over and mess with me. Or whatever. They never did. They never did. Now, thank God, whatever. So then it was this one night, the homeless deal. That was homeless too. But I had a bag of clothes. It wasn't a whole bunch of clothes. But still I didn't like carrying stuff. I was on 31st and Florida, and I was waiting for the bus to come, and some youngsters. I knew they had to say something to this dude. About three youngsters. I had this chain on. That it wasn't real, but it was gold. The links was about like this. You might have seen it. You know, links about like that. It was real around my neck. So I was talking on the phone, and because see this dude run the street. You know, he's running hard too. And at the bottom of him, and I'm looking at him. I said, "Oh, that bus must be coming." You know, whatever. You know, because he's running trying to get up there.
Yeah.
So when he get up there, he come across the street. He looking at me, and he walking around me, and I had my hand in my pocket. You know, and everything. I said, "What's up, man?" You know, and he looked at me, and he turned around and he took off. You know, so he thought I had a gun or something in my pocket, but I didn't. See, that was a chance. Had he been one of the guys, I don't care. You know, or if it had been two, maybe three of them,
Yeah.
you know, I would have maybe done something, but I didn't. You know, he went ahead on, and he ran on down the street. I said, "Oh man," you know. So then one night, I was also I wanted some cigarettes. You know, it's like two something in the morning. You know, I went at a friend's house. I was staying there. Took me a shower and stuff, cleaned up. Okay, I'm walking down here to the filling station on 31st and Cleveland to give me a cigarette. So I'm walking down the street, that same chain I had on. So I'm walking down the street, and it's a dude, you know, behind me. He's like not a block behind me, but a little closer than a block, you know, whatever. So I said, okay, I don't know if this dude is following me or not. And I said, so I'm across the street. So I crossed the street, he crossed the street. And I said, yeah, okay. So I said, I'm gonna go back over across the street. I went back over and I said, I'm looking back as I'm walking, you know, whatever. And so he didn't cross that time, but he went down the street. Matter of fact, Chestnut. You know, he went down that street going towards Linwood. So I said, okay, you know, he's gone. So I'm walking on down. Yeah, as I'm getting closer to 31st and Cleveland, I look back, there's two of them. There's two of them. I said, that's the same dude I know. And there's another one with him, you know. So, you know, they must have noticed that I've seen him. So I think the other one went to Linwood and the other one went to Monroe, you know, because by the time I got to the filling station on 31st and Cleveland right there, I seen one of the dudes coming up, you know, between Tony's and the filling
So
station.
you was in the middle.
Yeah. I said, okay. And then I heard a gunshot, you know, and it came from Linwood way. So I said, that must have been dude. So I didn't take no chances. You know, this time I called the police. Yeah, because, you know, I said, there's two of them. And then as I'm looking, the Family Dollar is right down there. I seen two people go and go like behind there, you know, and stuff. So I said, they just wait for me to make a move. You know, as soon as I, you know, make my move, then they gonna start, you know, after me again. But this time they ain't gonna let me get away from them as far as I did. So I said, I'm gonna call the police. I'm gonna stay right here, you know, whatever. You know, police came. You know, he came, pulled the car on the wrong side of the street. And I told him, I said, well, I said it was this guy, you know, whatever. And they was walking. There was two of them. And I said, hey, you know, and I seen somebody go behind there. Said, we've been all right. We don't see nobody. You know, okay, so either was he good or they had left. You know, whatever. So after that, I said, okay, all right, I said, let me go take out. So after I felt it up in me, I said, let me go. So I went head on, started walking, got where I was. I said, forget that.
You thought they were trying to like rob you or something?
Yeah, I mean, you know, cause that chain that I had on, you know, they wanted that, cause I had on a nice white shirt, and that mug showing good. Here, 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, the only people out, you know, that late, you know, and walking like that is dope heads, you know, and somebody trying to come up on something, you know. So I'm trying to get me a pack of cigarettes, a dope head too, but I didn't have no money for that.
Yeah.
So I'm giving me some cigarettes.
Some cheaper.
You know, yeah, give me some cigarettes, you know, whatever. So, you know, that's what that was about, you know. And we get that chain from him, man, we could sell that, you know, whatever, but they didn't get to get that. You know.
So knowing seeing your history and stuff like that, and some of the traumas that you faced, what traumas in your life do you think enhanced you and to go deeper into the drugs?
When my cousin got killed. When my cousin got killed, man, it's like I was right there.
Can you tell us a story, like, or what happened, like how it led up to him eventually getting killed?
Yeah, we was on our way to get some wet. That's it, you know.
Yeah.
A car load of us, and Central had a carnival, and the carnival was over. So it's a whole bunch of people out there up at BP up there by Central High School. And so when we pulled up in there, then you know, you know, our auntie was crying and said that the guy wouldn't give her money, and so my cousin got out, you know, and I didn't hear him say too much or nothing, but the guy, ended up getting a gun, and all of a sudden, pow, and my cousin hit the trunk and he fell. When he fell down on the ground, and the dude ran right behind there. I'm standing on the passenger side, out of the car just looking, looking at him, and he was like, he stood over, pow, and then turned and started running, holding the gun in the air, pow, shot him one more time. I'm just looking at him, and then his brother, my cousin, his brother, uh, grabbed him, put him in the car. He was jumping from the front seat to the back. My brother. And I got the keys. I'm like, I can't find the key. I can't find the key. So when I did find the key, I put it in the ignition, started up. My cousin was in on my leg. And I drove up 20. That's one night I never seen the police. Never seen the police. I was driving up from Linwood all the way to 27th Street, then made the left on 27th Street, going down there, honking the horn and flashing the bright lights and everything. And when I finally got down to Truman, I pulled up and I said, get him out. And they got him. I took him on up there, and I called my daddy and called Jeff and nothing like, is he dead? Is he dead? I said, I don't know. And then my daddy came down there, and then that's when my dad came out and said, he's gone. And I just dropped to my knees. That was it. And I didn't know that he was dead, but pieces of his brain was on my leg and blood on the. I had on some two tone jeans, and they was on there. And then after we found that out, I went in there where he was, and I seen him laying up there. I didn't know that he had got shot like he did. He got shot back here, and it came out up here, and I didn't know that. That's why the blood was all on my leg like that. So when I went in there and looked at him, I seen they just had him on the machine, and stuff. And that's then I ended up going home, hug my mom and stuff. And I said, Mama, I didn't know what to do. She said, there wasn't nothing you could do, she said, well, thank God it wasn't you, because had I tried to do anything else, I could have got shot too, or something. But I didn't. So the trauma of it today for me is that from time to time I always think, what is it I could have done? What could I have done? I wish I could say, hey man, don't do that, or
like survivors,
something like that, but because him and the mode that he was in, he just was, and just shot me too, or something,
So how old was you when that trauma?
21.
Okay, so you was pretty early in your adult years, and then after that, you just kind of dialed in at that.
Yeah, because I would have the thoughts about it. I still have thoughts about it, but they're not as strong, but they're still there. They're still strong. That's one of the worst traumas in my life, that to actually see something happen and try to save somebody and couldn't do it. Wasn't nothing I could do. I know it's like you could have been like, well, thanks, God, I'm sure you got me there, to the hospital, but you didn't know that I was gone already, and I didn't.
So what was you going to the trunk for? So like, because you kind of skip through the story.
Yeah.
So like, if you could tell the story from the beginning, so that the audience and us, we can actually kind of visualize like the steps of, like you said, the movie essentially, so we can understand the steps of the process of what made him go to the trunk. What's in the trunk? What's going on?
It wasn't really a big fact that he was going to the trunk, but if you say because he didn't have no gun, they got the car, everything, but the tire jack, because it was like what he got. It was three guys right there, So well, I'm gonna give me something, just to kind of take care, because I'm gonna start swinging, whatever. So that's good. That's the only thing he could have been going for, but he got stopped, as he's running back there. Dude got the gun, and when he shot the first time, obviously he hit him somewhere, and when he hit him, he fell, and then he ran back behind there and stood over him and shot him in the head, So And like I said, I know there wasn't no gun in there because we was too close and we would know here or there. Although there could be something there, but they took the car. They never came and said,
It was a gun in there.
no gun in there.
So did the person ever get caught?
Yeah, he got caught, did his time and everything. We see him now on the street. Yeah, we see him. Yeah,
So it's safe to say that that's really a big factor into you being going into addiction, to kind of trying to numb the pain.
Well, yeah. Well, I was already, going through it.
Yeah.
But when that happened,
Make
it
it
more
a
so
gallon.
because when you start drinking, you start drinking everything, and then all of a sudden you think about that, you think about you bring that day up,
Yeah.
sit there, because being right there, man, it's like it happened yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like it happened just yesterday. So and that's kind of what I go, and like during my times of drinking, if I could be towed up and start talking about it, and I could break down, whatever, and just more than that, I mean, and I got shot,
Yeah.
when I got shot, I
Tell us a story about that.
I was just got out of work, when I was working, I was staying with my cousin then, and so I had some greens, whatever, which is greens is that good smoke, So I wanted to go make a trade, I wanted to make a trade. I want to get some crack, for these greens, whatever. So when I go to this dude, he said, "Oh, I can take you to this dude, dude." Okay, I'm by myself, and me and the dude. So the dude take me to the dude. So I said, "Hey man, you want to make a spot? Hey, let me see what you got." He get it. So he look at it. Ain't nothing I can do for you. And put it in his sock. So I'm standing there. He said, "You can go ahead and go." I said, "Man, I ain't going nowhere." So I feel that you give me my stuff or give me something. Whatever. He said, "All right, well, just go down the street. I'll be down there." I said, "Man, I ain't going nowhere. I'm standing right here." But the whole time, he was staying doing. He's trying to. The dude had a gun, and was so crazy about it, and he couldn't get it out himself. So I'm sitting there watching you, constantly trying to get this gun out, and you can't even get it out. So he said, "Come on, man, come on. I'll walk down the street with you." So we walking down the street. He was a little taller than me. We walking down the street, and I'm looking at him. I'm getting madder and madder because I know you can't give me nothing. So I'm looking mad, man. So I grabbed it and threw him over in the grass. We started tussling, and everything. The gun finally came out in the street. And I tried to reach it. My arm was too short. I couldn't get it. He wound up. He got it. So when he got it, whatever, we kind of tussling a little bit, and so then I pushed him back or something, and I was like, "All right, come on," whatever. So when I did that, I looked down. I had on one of them white Raider t-shirts. I seen all them bullets. I said, "Damn!" I turned around. And I started running, and he was behind me. Pow, pow, click, 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 pow, click. The gun was messed up. And he couldn't run and shoot. So when I finally got to the top of the hill, I stopped and I looked down there. I said, "Yeah, all right." So I ran on home. And so when I get to the hospital, and everything, I'm in there. They done took all my clothes off because Nisha, my cousin, took me to the hospital. Whatever. So I get in there, and come to find out, I got shot right here. The bullet came out right here.
So you got shot in the center.
Yeah, right there. I got shot right there. Bullet came out right here. And when I got there, they said, "Well, the bullet didn't touch nothing.
Oh, wow.
It went in and came out."
That's lucky.
Yeah, because I could have got shot in the heart.
That's what I'm saying.
I did. So he said, "All we can do is clean it and let it heal." What I said, because it didn't touch nothing. True blessing right there. So I mean, I've been in a truck wreck. I used to work for this company. And I was on the freeway, and I'd be getting high all night. So I got to go to work now. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm drinking a half pint on my way. Drinking a half pint, boy. Thinking that that's gonna help me overcome this and get the job on over and all this and that. I didn't understand that the people didn't smell nothing, they didn't notice nothing or nothing. And all I could tell you is what I do is load my truck up. I'm just Yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
So what kind of truck? Hold on, before
A
you
box
get there.
truck.
Okay, was it like a CDL required or no? Or it
No.
was like the short box truck?
No, it was like it was a box truck like people do
Move out.
like not the first
U-Haul.
not the first U-Haul and
The
a
second
little
one?
bit bigger than the second one.
Okay.
You know?
Like the one.
So almost like now, but it wasn't the big one.
Okay.
But a truck like that. So I'm driving. They done gave me my paperwork. Okay, boom, I'm on my way. I don't remember none of that stuff. All I remember, I get in the truck, I'm rolling, I'm driving. Man, I'm driving. I don't see how I even made it when I left the lot. I don't know nothing about that. I don't understand it. So if you know anything about going to Hollywood Video, I mean Hollywood Casino, going towards the racetrack.
Okay.
Going that way. It's a freeway that you cut off and you go this way, and that's like going to A&G Wholesale,
Okay.
over there. I'm on that. I kind of came to a little bit, whatever, but I was still in the day. But then, bam, I came on too. And when I got around that bend, to get on the next, four-way lane going that way, I looked in my mirror. All the cars behind me was in a straight line. So obviously I was going all like that. But I didn't even know nothing.
Yeah.
And so then when I noticed all the cars like that, next thing you know, bam, bam, bam.
You start hitting cars?
Bam. No, I was hitting the
Guardrail.
Yeah. I was hitting all that. And so I'm jumping around the truck. I never hollered or nothing. Just bouncing around in there. And so then the truck.
As soon as you stop it, straight bouncing around?
Yeah. No, but the truck was going hitting side to side.
Yeah.
And so now I can't hold the wheel.
Yeah.
So I'm just bouncing around in there. And so the truck went over on the side, bam, and slid, for about a half a block or so. The front windshield busted out. And when the front windshield busted out and it stopped, I stepped out. And people came and said, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm cool. I want wallet there." No lie. God, I want my wallet, because I had some money in it. You know what I'm thinking about.
What was you transporting? If you remember.
Fruits and it was produce.
Oh.
Produce.
So wait, did you stay at the scene or?
The ambulance, they came and got me. They put the thing on my neck. I said, "What you put that on for?" Hey man, look, no lie, wasn't nothing wrong with me. Nothing. No blood, no glass, no nothing. When I got to the hospital, they took me to the hospital, and when I got to the hospital, they kept me in there. I went in there. They laid me down, tore my shirt off, whatever, and stuff. And they came back. They said, "Well, we know what was wrong, but the problem was you ain't had no sleep."
Yeah.
They let me go.
Yeah.
I walked down 39th Street, for one of them things they put on you in the hospital.
The gown?
But I had my pants on. I only just had a shirt.
Yeah.
But, I walked down the street with that, stopped at Popeyes. It used to be on 39th and Broadway, where Jimmy John's is now. It was a Popeyes. They got me some chicken, and I caught the bus on home.
So did you get fired?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I got fired. They said, "Only that's your truck over there." Yeah. So
did you get a ticket or something, or you just?
Man, I didn't get nothing.
They didn't check your blood.
Hey man, to this day, man, and if you think I'm down, check shit or stuff, whatever. Hey, nothing's on my record about that. I don't understand it myself. Nothing is on my record. Yeah, that was over in Kansas though. But I didn't get nothing. I didn't have to go to court. No nothing.
Just got fired.
I just got fired. That was it.
Good with that.
I did. And I can't believe it. Just like, yeah. That's all stuff on. But when I shot dude, I didn't get in trouble for that. He said, if you don't come down here, and make a report about it, he said, I'm letting you go when I get out.
Okay, so hold on, wait.
We didn't even get
Hold on, wait.
The police said that? Who said that?
All this stuff, like I say,
It's
a legend, right? You see what I'm saying? But like I said, this is why it's all a legend. So no names is in here because it's all a legend. So like I say, tell us about the time you shot dude.
Nah, well,
tell us what's going on. What led up to it?
I was over his house, You know, and,
By the way, before I let you go, you over a lot of dudes' houses.
oh, it was him and his girl.
No, but
Him
I'm
and his
just saying,
girl's house.
a lot of these stories start off. I was at this dude's house.
Yeah.
You got a lot of dudes' house.
Maybe that was
Yeah.
one of the
I mean,
problems.
some of them were smoke houses.
Yeah.
If you want to say that, some of them was
Yeah, it
them
sounds
and their
better.
girl, and some of them was like him, and it was the girl's place, but they stayed there and they all got high. So you know,
Okay.
you
So
know,
I'm just clearing that
Oh,
up.
yeah, so
yeah, it wasn't it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
You know, but
I don't know. It ain't my
him
story.
and his girl stayed there,
Uh-huh.
and so we was over there. So him and her was into it about something, and he dropped her dope on the floor. You know, and he thought that I tried to get it, although you know, gave me a chance. I wouldn't have got it. You know, so he wanna try to. You wanna get shot? You wanna get shot? He kept putting the gun up to my head, and I'm in a corner. I'm in like a corner like this.
Mm-hmm.
Counter right there, TV. I mean, refrigerator. So there's no way for me to really get up.
Kind
I
of
said,
box,
man, quit putting the gun up to my head, man. You know, whatever. He said, "You wanna get shot?" So he messed up when he turned. He said something to his girl. When he did that, I grabbed his hand, gave it away. He said, "It's cock." I said, "I don't give a fuck." You know? So, but as long as you stay away from me.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
pushed him down on the couch and I took it from him.
Yeah.
You know, and so he was talking about, man, it's loaded, it's loaded. I said, "Man, I ain't shoot nobody." So I'm backing up, you know, and so this girl talking, "My baby." Well, no, as I was backing up, you know, with the gun, you know, hair trigger, shot in the floor. You know, she's like, "My baby, my baby." Ain't nobody gonna shoot your baby. You know, whatever. So I go outside, so he didn't follow me. You know, he should just stay on. You know, but he followed me. You know, went on. And what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You gonna shoot? You gonna shoot? I said, "No, man, no." You know, so he kept doing it, so he made me mad. I threw the gun over his head and it socked him. Pow! Then I seen the knot grow on his eye. That nigga turned around, started running like this. So he thought I was going to shoot him, but I wasn't. You know, so then I go ahead and go to my sister's crib. And so she we at the door. "Hey, you gonna get my gun back?" I said, "Hell no, nigga." You know? Said, "I done knocked the shit out of you." No, and I give it to you. I know the first thing you're gonna do is try to shoot me with. You know, so he tried to swing on me through the door. You know, whatever. And I just held it up. Hair trigger. Barely burst. And shot him right in the thigh. You know, whatever. So then I put the gun in my pants and I took off running. I ran to my mom's house. And by the time I get to my mom's house, you know, my sister obviously told them where I went. And which was cool. It didn't make no difference. They had the front door and the back door. You know, yeah, police. Front door and the back door. So I took the gun out, put it on the counter where TV is, mama's TV in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, I'll put it back." So I put it back. I opened the door. They said, "Yeah, we're looking for." I said, "That's me." I said, "Man, that's his. That's his. I took it from him." You know, whatever. So he said, "Don't say that. Don't say that." You know, and everything. And then I tried to say something else over there. You know, he said, "Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing." So they took me on to jail. You know, so that night, I stayed in jail that night. And then the next morning, I talked to a detective. You know, and he said, how you going to introduce yourself, whatever. He said, "Well, the way I understand this guy wants to shoot you in your ass, but you shot him." I said, "Really? I understand that." You know, but my thing is, well, you got to find me again first. You know, I already know where he stay. I know what happened and everything. You know, and so he said, "But if he don't come down here and make a statement, you know, before I leave, I'm letting you go." You know,
He never came and made a
he
statement.
didn't come. Hey, they let me out. You know, so I got out. You know, whatever. So, you know, I mean, it wasn't my fault. It was his.
Yeah.
But he kept asking for it.
Yeah.
"You gonna shoot me?" "No, I ain't gonna shoot you. But quit doing that. Quit steady ass, you know." Trying to show off in front of the girl. You know, whatever. He got shot in front of her. You know, that's you know,
So, is there any other? Before we let you go here, I'm gonna ask my question. I'll leave it to my my co-host to sit there and ask theirs. So, is there any other situation, not necessarily dealing with drugs, like in the streets, there was like either you was bleeding or it was like a big brawl or something like that, to where you felt like it could become life threatening?
No, not really. I never got into it. Well, not for me anyway. But um, no, it wasn't no bleeding or rolling. But I'm gonna tell you, doing the drugs can get you in some stuff because I did take a female somewhere one time up north down here. Like what?
We can't say
Okay.
the name.
I
But,
said old girl, but I was
Yeah,
saying.
no, just like even of the locations.
Oh,
Say
okay,
the
yeah,
area
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff like that. But
And
like,
so,
you can say the area. You can say
they
like the place, but just don't say like the exact location.
they went in and came out running to my go, he gotta go. So I'm like, no, which one should I do? Whatever, because you put yourself in a situation where you run and then they could start busting at you.
Yeah.
So I didn't. I stood right there, and they came right up to the car. They said, don't get scared now, but it wasn't really talking about. It could have been talking about me too, and her, whatever. But I'm just sitting there like, for one, I don't know what's going on, but whatever she did, I don't know nothing about nothing. But he said what he said to her because he didn't really say a lot to me.
Yeah.
He said, out of here, whatever. So I went in, I pulled on tear came out my eye because if anything was gonna happen, I was shocked then. Again, I was shocked, but I told her, I said, don't ever do that to me. Again, because people don't care. People don't care when they on them drugs. They don't care. Like I said, I have morals about myself. I might have did stupid stuff, but it wasn't nothing stupid to get nobody else hurt, and barely to get myself hurt.
Yeah. So, Ufi, you got anything? Because I was going.
I mean,
no, yeah. I was going to leave with this one last piece. What do you have any what's your biggest regret from using drugs?
Actually leaving home like I did, because had I did listen instead of being hard headed, so had I listened and kind of took a little heed to what was being said to me, then I may not have left on like I did, and I could have left and been in a better situation and would have never got that, because you wanted to get out there and see how they want to party and all this and that.
Yeah.
And that's what it got me.
So, and then one last thing, I had a two-parter for that. What is some advice that you'll give to somebody that let's say, early 20s or 18, 19, thinking about leaving home or being in that position, want to be hard-headed? What's some advice that you give to that person so they can maybe take a different and learn from you?
Whether they own drugs or not, just leave home, period, rushing to leave out.
I would say, first of all, take a good look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Take a good look at yourself and realize the problems that you have caused for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
For you to maybe, whatever the reason is, to leave home like that, because mine was getting in trouble because I wasn't doing like I was supposed to be doing. So I'm faulting somebody else for mistakes that I was making.
Mm-hmm.
So take a good look at yourself, realize what you're doing, and take your time and make the right decision. Because I sure didn't. So today, for me being in the situation I am, hey, I brought everything on myself, but I'm not as bad off as there's some people.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that's definitely worse off than I am.
Yeah. All right.
Anything you want to leave with the people?
So I want to say to people, hey, I'm glad, to have gotten this talk off, I don't know if it makes me feel, like a lot of weight off or not, but hey, it was cool doing it, I have to say. You guys keep doing what you're doing, and everybody just stay prayed up, man.
Yeah.
Give God all the credit, because if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't be here today.
Sure. Mm-hmm. So that's what Rebel Talk TV all about. We share stories from people. We wanted to get different perspectives of people. It was nice having you on, and I feel like that you got more to your story that we didn't get into, but we're short on time, so we might have you back on if you're available to get a part 2 or something, part 3, whatever it may be.
Sounds good to me, because maybe I'll be in a better situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, like I said, this Brother Talk TV. This is your favorite host, Brother Man Feek.
Yeah, man. I'm Lou.
Jay Millie, man.
And we got a guest here.
And I'm Oli Aiken. Hey.
There we go. And we appreciate you coming out, boss man. We appreciate you telling us the stories and being vulnerable on this podcast with us and helping us grow. We appreciate you. We appreciate our subscribers and our future subscribers, stuff like that.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we out. Love y'all.
Peace.